lies the highlight. We'll also meet Mark Beal, a farmer at heart and a center by design. And we'll also look ahead as we scout next week's Big House guest from Ball State. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by Diet Mountain Dew. How Dew does diet. By Pontiac, official performance machines of Michigan and the NCAA. By Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? By LaSalle Bank, proud to support the University of Michigan football program. LaSalle Bank, making more possible. And by Big Boy Restaurants. Oh boy, Big Boy, celebrating 70 years as your hometown family restaurant. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay. Well, the Wolverines roll along. They get a 17-3 win over Northwestern. Now, a lot of people thought maybe it should have been a bigger score. Tell me your take on this 17-3 victory.
Well, I thought the elements were quite
windy and rainy, man.
A difference maker in that game. There's no question. Throwing the football, kicking the football, those things were difficult to say the least. But I thought I was really impressed with our defense. I think they played as well as they have all year. I mean, a dominating performance. 5 turnovers. I mean, that's the difference in this game.
And when your defense is playing that well, you can kind of play to that strength, can't you, with your offense?
Well, there's no question. And of course, in 2 of those quarters when we're going into that win, we tried to protect the football and keep our defense out of bad field position.
And it was clear, I think, too, that Northwestern knew you were going to try to run the football, and they crowded the line of scrimmage. The one thing, I think, early in the game, their first possession, they moved it a little against you.
Well, they had a well-executed play there. Our linebacker, Prescott Burgess, got beat on a great move, and they are now down there with good field position. And here is one of the 3 or 4 biggest plays again. Lamar Woodley, for the 3rd straight game, knocks the ball loose from the blind side. A great play, and now we've got good field position.
You kind of expect that from Lamar these days, making big plays, getting turnovers. But you take it with good field position, pound Mike Hart in there, and then the one big pass play for a score. Here's a great throw from Chad Henry.
Well, it is, and Adrian caught 1 pass on Saturday, and that was it, so that's a pretty good work for 1 catch.
In the first quarter, you're leading 7-0. And one of the things about this game, and you talked about it a moment ago, defense.
Well, we were great against the run. Here Lamar with great penetration, a loss of 2 or 3 yards. And now they're throwing into that wind, Jim. Here we come back and run the bootleg off of play action. And this kid, Greg Matthews, had 2 catches. We'll see one later on, but his confidence with the experience he's gained grows every game.
And you want to talk about, in a game with conditions like this, you play field position. And this is one of the best ways to play it.
Well, you know, Zoltan early in the season had so much excitement. He kicked some balls into the end zone, but in the last 3 or 4 games, done a great job pinning people down inside there. And there, Willis, Behringer, and Lamar. It's awful difficult to take a chance down there, and we had a great stand here.
Well, and that stand gives you great field position, and this ultimately results in points. That's why you kick a team down in there, don't you?
Well, Mike, yeah, and there's no question. Mike gains good yardage there behind Alex Mitchell and Justin Bourne starting the first game, and here we get a good gain on the screen pass. Alex Mitchell down the field getting a block.
And the screen was a big play in this game.
Well, it was. We come right back to the other side with Mike was back in there and running hard. He was typical Mike Hart. But we hurt ourselves, Jim, on this drive with 2 penalties, a holding call and a delay of game. And but a very difficult kick in that weather. Garrett had just a great year.
And he kicks it in there, and you make it a 10-0 game. And then, again, when Northwestern tries to make something happen, this defense just didn't give them room to breathe.
Well, they've played with a lot of discipline there. Leon Hall stayed home on the sprint away from him. Here, Alan Branch and Brandon Engelman make a great play on the screen.
Okay, you go into halftime with a 10-0 lead. Tell me what your feeling was. Were you a little disappointed? Were you thinking this is the way the game was going? It was going your way?
Well, I was disappointed that we didn't take advantage of some of the field position we had, but we were having difficulty throwing the football. But the good news was that we had the lead, and our defense was playing outstanding football. We had won the battle of field position, but we weren't happy with the way we executed, no.
All right, in the second half, they execute a little bit better and to get the victory. We'll be back taking a look at those highlights. But first, we hear from our rookie offensive lineman, Justin Bourne. Says it's a big learning curve for a freshman up front.
I thought last week I did real good on the run, and I had to work on my pass block. And then this week I really worked on my pass block, and I felt good on my pass block. And Ruben Toppin was teaching me a few things there, and it really helped out. I felt good, and you know, overall I think I'm doing all right.
Fun out there, and it was a fun day for me. I was just blessed that my coaches called on me, and they know I'm a veteran, so they called me to go out there and get the job done, and that's what I did.
Jerome got a lot of playing time in the second half. The first half score ended 10-0. You come on the second half, and last thing you want to do is you didn't get the first downs you needed going into the wind, and you gave Northwestern field position for their first drive.
Well, we kicked into the wind, and it didn't go very far, Jim. So there's no question Northwestern had an opportunity to start the second half just as you would want in that situation. They got the ball right near midfield.
And I think their game plan totally was to throw the football. They knew they couldn't run it.
Well, they found out early, and here they hit the slant for first down and on third down, and keep their drive alive.
And this was their biggest play of the game.
Well, we miss a tackle here and let Sutton outside, down inside the red zone.
You get a penalty, that puts them down in there. Then this was great defense, I thought, on the goal line.
This was a great stand. Alan Branch, great effort, two guys hanging on him. He forces the ball. We get good surge up the field, got their hands up, forced a high throw. And our defense made another great stop.
All right, that makes it a 10-3 game there. You get the ball back, don't do anything with it. Northwestern gets it back, and this is where a big turnover happens to give you some breathing room.
Well, this is the end of the third quarter, Jim, and they got the win with them. And Leon Hall, along with the play by Lamar, that is really a play that sets us up in great field position offensively.
And then into the wind, you've got this, a fourth down play, big play.
Well, Chad got us into the right play here, and it's relatively well blocked. Mike runs over the linebacker down inside the 6-yard line.
And then on the goal line, you get a great block from Obi Alibu, and Mike Hart puts it into the end zone.
Well, Obi finds the linebacker, and you know, that's something he's done a great job of all year long. And of course, you know, you can't forget the job Jake Long and Adam Krause and Mark Beal doing there on the left side.
Well, that takes to the fourth quarter, and it's 17-3. But you fumble the ball. Brandon Miner, your youngster, fumbles the football. They've got great field position, and man, this is where the defense on sudden change really turns it up.
Well, again, they make a heck of a play here. Sean Crable gets him in the backfield for a 2 or 3 yard loss. And then Willis Behringer, an old veteran, comes up with a big interception.
Now, Willis is not going to want you calling him old.
Well, he's not old by my standards, but certainly I'm delighted for him because that was a big play after a turnover.
And continuing to play hard. Here's David Harris. He's playing great football.
Well, Ron English had the right call there, and David came through untouched. And when he hits you and he's untouched, you're going down.
Well, this is a big drive. This really, you burn up a lot of time. Great throw to Matthews. You burn up a lot of time here and really take Northwestern out of any hope.
This was probably our best drive of the game, Jim, with Jerome in there after getting some other guys some work. We got a lot of backs, some experience in this game. The disappointment here is we get penetration. Garrett has been so reliable. That was not his fault there, and they blocked the field goal, which is a disappointment.
And the defense basically ends the game with, again, a continued great stand. There's Woodley a little bit later. David Harris intercepts a pass, and that pretty much closes it out. From this game, you talk about every week you want to get better. Tell us, about this game and where that whole attitude about getting better. You felt you lost some, maybe took a step back in a couple areas?
Well, I think it's the first time this year that we look tired, and I think we are tired. We need to get our legs back. We've got to get some guys healthy.
Right, that's what I mean. You also talked about being healthy.
Yeah.
You're nicked up.
We're nicked up, and Reuben Riley missed this game, and we're expected to get him back. And, of course, Mike was out most of the second half. But we do have some things from a standpoint offensively. We're not in sync. We didn't throw the football very well. Part of that is we dropped 3 passes that were catchable balls and would have sustained drives. But given the conditions, the thing I feel good about offensively is the way we ran the football.
Over 200 yards on the ground. You can't complain about that.
That's a lot of good blocking.
Yes, it is.
Running.
On a tough day when the weather was difficult.
Yep.
It's a 17-3 victory. The Wolverines stay unbeaten. Don't go away. When we come back, we'll meet Mark Beal. But first, we hear from David Harris, who says the defense has a one-track mindset.
Yeah, we came out and pretty much stopped their run game, and we made them one-dimensional. And anytime you can do that, it just helps the defense out so much. Our back four had good coverage all game, and we just took as a defense.
Mark Beal is Michigan's starting center, and that's exactly where he wants to be right now as an offensive lineman on this team. Beal is determined, like the rest of his teammates up front, to get better, and making the running game better is the key to the success of this offense.
Improving the running game was definitely something that was essential. We knew Coach DeBoer came in as the new offensive coordinator, brought in a new zone scheme for us, and it's worked great for us. It worked great for us in the spring against our own defense, and it's just something we became real confident with. We knew if we could run the ball against our defense, we could run the ball against pretty much anybody.
What you don't know about Mark Beal is that he is a dedicated farmer. From rural Washington Courthouse, Ohio, Beal has been around the big cities of Ann Arbor and Detroit, and while that's okay, it's not totally his cup of tea.
I really don't want that lifestyle for myself when I'm growing up and raising my children. Just the aspect of farm and a farm family and, raising your own sweet corn and stuff like that. It's just something, it's an aspect of life that people really don't live nowadays, and it's something I want to continue definitely for my children and my wife and my family down the road.
His farming dream is not just lip service either. He's serious, so much so that he goes home on spring break to help on the farm. This past spring, Beal really got into it as he and the local vet were all alone when they had to deliver a calf by C-section.
He just started numbing up the sides, started cutting a little bit and numbing up a little more, and before you knew it, he was all the way down inside the cow, and he said, just go in and get it. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yep, it's right there. So he reached down in there and pulled the calf out of the side of the cow, and it was something I'll never forget. It was an incredible experience.
While his experience at Michigan has been great too, he admits that the call of the farm is still very strong.
It's allowed me to see a lot of things, see different cultures, and as culturally diverse as the University of Michigan is, I didn't get to see a lot of that from where I was from. Just coming here, it's just allowed me to really reflect on how I was raised and really respect how I was raised, and that's what really encourages me to go back there, actually.
Mark Beal's a great kid now. He's probably the first you've ever had, I think, that's delivered a calf, don't you think?
Jim, I was on that farm.
Were you?
I was in the barn about 5:30 a.m. The morning I went down to visit with Mark and his family. And
he'd probably been up for an hour working already.
Every Michigan player has a story, and but what great respect we all have for Mark, because he's been resilient. He's not had it easy here, but he has turned into one whale of a football player, and you see what he's all about there.
Yeah, he's all about The American flag and apple
Values,
pie.
no
and values.
question.
And that's what's neat about Mark
Yes,
Field.
it is.
Yeah. Anyway, when we come back, we'll look ahead to next week. We'll scout Ball State. But first, we hear from Leon Hall. Says Michigan can't afford to look too far ahead.
We just got to stay focused. We just got to stay focused no matter what team we're playing. And, man, work on this 10th win. We just got the 9th today, so we just got to work on the 10th, and we'll be fine.
We're not taking any teams lightly. Ball State, well, I haven't watched film on them, but, I mean, if they're going to be playing in here, every team plays against Michigan their best. They always do awesome against us, so we can never take any team lightly.
Welcome back to Michigan Replay. We talk about the next game coming up being Ball State. Now, Ball State's in the middle of this Big Ten schedule, but it takes the spot of a normal bye week because the NCAA allowed a 12th game, right?
Yeah, and Jim, when the 12th game was passed, it was hard to find other schools that had an opening. And fortunately, Brady Hoke, who, is looking forward to bringing his team here, had an opening, and it's great for their program. So it'll be our seniors' last game at home in Michigan Stadium.
And we might mention Brady Hoke, the head coach at Ball State, was on your staff for how many years?
A long time.
And a great guy.
A great guy and a great friend, and he's doing a great job building a program.
And they've got two quarterbacks, actually, that they play. Nate Davis is there, throwing the pass to Dante Love, a great wide receiver for them. They got a lot of yards passing. Joey Lynch was that first quarterback, and here's Darius Hill, their tight end, 6'6", 230, Coach.
Well, Jim, he's averaging 17.7 yards per catch. That's got to lead the nation for tight ends, and they're among the leading teams in the nation in passing offense.
Cortland Booker is their defensive end. Wendell Brown, a linebacker, and Eric Keys is their strong safety. They got a big win Saturday over Miami of Ohio, 20-17. They didn't throw it as well, but they got to have some confidence after beating Miami.
Well, they lost early to two Big Ten teams. They had a chance to beat Indiana and played very well against Purdue, but Brady is he's a defensive coach. He's a guy that's got great energy, enthusiasm, and he'll have them jacked up to play, I'll tell you that.
Well, what's it like? We talked a little bit about this when Mike DeBoer brought Central Michigan here. What's it like for you to play a former assistant of yours coming in with a team, from the Mid-American Conference?
Well, I don't look forward to it. I didn't look forward to it when Mike came in, and I don't look forward to it. Matter of fact, the first time Brady called, I didn't want to do it because it's tough enough just competing against guys that you really like and respect. But a guy that worked here, a guy that's a great friend, it's just not something that's ideal from my standpoint.
Because you got to still coach him up and get him going.
Yeah.
One of the things that happened this past week is the 25th anniversary of the death of Bob Ufer. And many folks out there that are Michigan Replay fans don't remember Bob. Well, Bob was the original voice of Michigan football. And if you don't remember Bob, just take a listen to this call from 1979 Michigan versus Indiana.
Okay. Under center is Wangler at the 45. He goes back. He's looking for a receiver. He throws downfield to Carter. Look at those Wolverines. 95 Wolverines going in the end zone. Carter got the pass. In the air, it's done. Ufer is going out of his mind. I have never seen anything like this in all my 40 years.
Bob Ufer died 25 years ago last week, and of course, I always say that he will always be the voice of Michigan football. Now, Beckman and I will never get that crazy.
Well, I think you two guys have done a tremendous job, Jim.
Thanks.
And,
You actually,
great team. You're a great team.
I appreciate it if we could just keep Beckman under control.
Well, that's your job.
He's a loose cannon.
That's your job.
And that's the most difficult job. You actually came to Michigan in 1980, right before Bob passed away, so you really don't remember Bob that much, do you?
Well, I remember him at the press rally that we had, Bo's first Rose Bowl win against Washington, and we had a great turnout out there, and he gave an impassioned speech that motivated all the fans and the team.
Well, clearly he loved Michigan, and that's the one thing about Bob that everybody remembers. And the key for you and helping Bob remember is to keep going forward, playing this one game at a time thing. You can't look past anybody, can you, as you go forward? How do you as a coach impress that on the team?
Well, Jim, I think our team has great maturity. They've certainly displayed that throughout this year. They've gotten ready to play every week. Even on Saturday when we didn't play our best game, you can't say that our defense didn't play great, that we didn't play hard offensively. So I know they understand the key is to get better every week.
Well, hopefully that'll happen this week. The Wolverines take on Ball State. Make sure you join us right here, same time, same place. We'll look at it all over right here on Michigan Replay. Michigan Replay